Jamie.
Yeah?
It's podcast 35.
So?
Well, it's the Interplanetary Podcast.
Putting the ace back into space. Oh!
Yeah, baby space.
Lord.
The Interplanetary Podcast. The exploration of space for the benefit of all mankind. Your hosts here in London, Matthew Russell and Jamie Franklin.
Matt, I'm really excited about this one because I have to say, when you sent me over the notes of today's show, my mind was blown by a few things. First up, Bob Cabana.
Bob Cabana.
Am I pronouncing it right?
I don't know. I hope so. Bob Cabana. So, yeah, Bob Cabana, he's a 2008 Hall of Famer and the current director of NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida.
Whoa.
And will be inducting two very special people into the Astronaut Hall of Fame.
That is not too shabby, is it, really?
No. So I'm going to have a go at pronouncing someone else's name, who's probably is Ellen Ochoa. Who's the first Hispanic woman to go into space.
Okay.
And Michael Foale.
Legend.
Who is a US astronaut, but was born in Britain.
And you went to see him last night?
Yeah, guess who I met last night? Michael Foale.
How was it?
How awesome is it? It was so cool. It was absolutely... It really, 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 really good. He basically told us all about his... space shuttle missions, and then in the second half told us all about his Mir space station mission, which is
awesome.
what he's really famous for. So we've talked about Michael Foale on the show before on show 23, 12 and 14.
Yeah, we did.
yeah.
We're fans.
Yeah, so I think after meeting me, he's decided to scurry off back to America to accept his induction at the Space Shuttle Atlantis attraction at the Kennedy Space Center.
That's the kind of effect you have on people, isn't it?
So he's 60. He's 60, but he certainly doesn't look 60. In fact, in the photo that I put up on Twitter, I think he actually looks younger than me, which is a bit embarrassing.
Oh.
So, he's just a recap. He spent 373 days in space, almost 374.
Not too shabby at all.
Yeah,
either, again.
No.
He's clocked up some stats, this guy.
Yeah. He was chosen in 1987 for the NASA training. He's been on space shuttle missions STS-45, 56, 63, and 84. 86 and 103, and he's been on a Soyuz mission as well, TMA-3, Expedition 8, and he also served on the Mir space station on number 23 and number 24 for Mir. So he's pretty phenomenal. He went to Cambridge University with Stephen Fry.
Right.
And he did show a picture of him drinking with Stephen Fry at college. And he walked away from Cambridge with a first-class honours degree. That's not bad, is it?
Oh, it's just normal. It's a normal thing. I've got a few of those.
But he was a pilot, so he was used to gliding. But when he went to do his military test, he mucked it up. His eyesight wasn't good enough to be in the military, and he wanted to follow his dad, who used to fly nuclear weapons around in the RAF.
Right.
And his dad married an American, which will be pretty important later on. But it was his mum, apparently, who really encouraged him to get into space and bought him space books and things like that. So he was massively into space, but he thought he'd blown his chance when he couldn't get into the military. But
okay.
Which is quite funny. That's very similar to... I'm reading Mike Massimino's book at the moment, and it's quite a similar start to that. It's like you can it sort of sounds like Mike Massimino had no chance of getting into the Space Corps whatsoever.
Yeah.
But then suddenly he did, and again he's one of the most successful astronauts as well.
Interesting.
So he flew on space shuttle missions STS-45, 56 and 63. And one of those had his favourite experiment, which was firing a laser firing a laser
beam.
into the atmosphere and creating a false aurora. And he said it was amazing, like this laser shooting out and on all the electrons flying down the sort of magnetic field lines of the Earth and then hitting the atmosphere and creating a false aurora.
Is that a normal experiment? Is that a thing that happens? I've never heard of that before.
No, and I've never. Do you know what? And someone in the audience asked, "Well, is there any footage?" And the only footage is like a really rubbish bit of black and white footage of the laser beam leaving the space shuttle. And he said,
I'd still like to see it.
Well, there's no footage. I mean, literally, honestly, it's not worth watching that bit of footage. No. It's like just looks like a white beam of light leaving something that's on the edge of the space shuttle, and it's pretty ropey. It's pretty grainy.
You say that like it's a bad thing. I want the Blu-ray version.
Yeah, no, it's barely the TDK tape version.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Imagine seeing that.
I know, so just ludicrous. But his moment of glory really was to go to the Mir space station. And when he went to the Mir space station, as he was on board, and the American that was already on there was leaving, the American sort of turned around to him and said, "Michael, a couple of weeks ago there was a Progress cargo vehicle approaching, and Vasily seemed to be sort of controlling it remotely." And the thing almost hit the space station, and we were really lucky at the last second he managed to divert it, but he seemed to be flying it remotely. So look out, Michael, because that's like a bit worrying. But apparently Michael Foale sort of thought to himself, that does sound a bit worrying, but then sort of forgot about it. And then a few months, I think, later, he saw Vasily at this computer screen, all dressed smartly in his flight suit, trying to control a Progress vehicle without, remotely from the space station, and he'd switched off the radar that's on the front of the Progress vehicle that basically tells the Progress vehicle how fast it's coming into the space station. And without it, you kind of have to do. Well, they were looking at the size. They were using the cameras on the Progress vehicle, to look at the size of the space station, which they then sort of measured on the screen. Then, using some graph paper, was trying to work out how fast it was going. And then Michael Foale went into all this talk about the Coriolis effect and how it has to come in circles, at which point I was getting a little bit confused. But you can see that obviously flying in something on a little grainy black and white screen with a little black joystick is going to be quite difficult when these things are travelling at thousands of miles an hour and orbiting the Earth. And so Michael Foale apparently came over and was watching Vasily do this, and as it came in, it was just going far too fast, and it basically smashed into the side of the Mir space station. At which point, I think Michael Foale thought, "Well, I'm going to, it's all going to fall apart, and I'm going to be sucked into the vacuum of space. I better breathe out so that I survive more than 1 second and survive 20 seconds instead." So, and then he's sort of looking around and thought, "Oh no, it has all managed to sort of stay together." But obviously, they were in a massive emergency though. So they're all shutting off areas, and so I think there was something like 6 modules or 5 modules of the space station at that point, and they were down to 2 after sort of closing off all the compromised parts of the space station.
Imagine how terrified you'd be. I mean, I know that they're meant to keep calm, but even them, surely, when you think, I'm dead.
It sounded like they did stay calm, but there was one bit where the 2 Russian cosmonauts and Michael Foale are looking out the window, and they're having to fan themselves because the electric power's gone down because the solar panels aren't pointing towards the sun because it's now in a spin. And they're having to fan themselves to keep the carbon dioxide away from themselves so that they don't suffocate. And Michael Foale sort of looked out the window and said, at least it's been a really bad day, but at least the view's nice. Of which Vasily said, it's just been a really bad day. It's just like, oh dear, man. I mean, it's like, oh my God. And so,
how's it all going up there?
So I think so. Michael Foale's kind of, I guess, the thing that he's most famous for was that he stuck his thumb on the window and was able to use his Cambridge education in physics to work out the spin of the spacecraft, and I think he modelled this on the Mir computer, and was talking to ground control and saying, look, you know, what the heck, what do we need to do? And they were sort of saying, well, you need to get the spin under control in the y-axis, which meant that the solar panels could at least point at the sun more.
Right.
But if it starts spinning in the x-axis, then it's pretty much game over, because you just won't have enough fuel to then... the fuel that they use to stop it spinning is on the Soyuz spacecraft itself. So, which are on either side of the space station. So there's a couple of Progress vehicles, I know the actual kind of Soyuz that take them off the space station, and of course they're their lifeboats. They're how they get off. So if they use all the fuel up in them, then they are genuinely doomed. So I think the two Russians didn't really want to do it because they were concerned that they were going to use up all the fuel. But Michael Foale managed to persuade them, after talking to ground control, that actually no, this would actually be possible to do. So
God, what a hero!
Yeah, so he managed to get it under control. So
that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, so when he returned to Earth, Bill Clinton said, "Yeah, come and see me. You've been a massive American hero."
He probably saved the day for everyone.
Well, you know, he I think the phrase that Bill Clinton used, I think, was that you didn't embarrass us, which keeps coming up a few times in Michael Foale's speech, was as how like how these things. The stress is that what you don't want to do is go wrong and embarrass everyone.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Especially with all the money that they were spending that people were annoyed about, you know.
I know. So Michael Foale, so when he got back to Earth, him and his family visited Bill Clinton, and there's a picture of him and his family with Bill Clinton, and which is pretty cool. And he said to Bill Clinton, he said, you know, I understand that my mission was very important when it comes to stopping the proliferation of nuclear weapons. And Bill Clinton sort of said, yeah, that's part of it, but didn't elaborate. So that was a really cool moment. Well, apparently in Russia they show a film every year of the Mir space station crash. On the anniversary, and it kind of shows Michael Foale apparently sort of flying through the air and hitting Vasily and causing the crash. Well, I kind of hope that that's a bit of a joke, but
you'd like to think so.
So no, I don't know. But he did get the Yuri Gagarin Gold Medal from the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale, the FAI. So you know,
that's not a bad one to get, is it?
No. So so he's a bit of a hero, and after that he went up on a couple more space shuttle missions, and one of those was repairing the Hubble Space Telescope.
And as we said a couple of weeks ago, anytime you mention the Soyuz, I always flash back to the reminder that people not only have to learn rocket science and be just a general genius. But they have to learn it in Russian.
Yeah, well,
learn all the controls in Russian, and learn what to do if there's disasters in Russian.
Yeah. Whoa. How cool was that picture of the Yuri Gagarin training center and the name of it in Russian, and then the name of it in English?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And it's just like, we were like looking at. That was one of the coolest things of that, being at that Mars Nation with Dr. Alicia, who was of course Russian. So,
absolutely.
So that was very, very, that was really cool, wasn't it? But no, apparently Michael Foale was pretty good at Russian, although he really didn't. I don't think he liked his time at the. Didn't sound like he liked his time at that training centre at all. Although he did get to learn. Well, it was like really weird. It's like they treated him like a sort of space rookie. And so they were getting him to do things like stand on his leg. And he was saying, you know, I've been to space before. And they're saying, yes, but this is how Yuri Gagarin did it. So everyone has to do it as Yuri Gagarin did it.
Right.
So it's like, well, this
standard.
is what Yuri Gagarin did. You know, he's such a massive hero that everyone has to go to space in the style of Yuri Gagarin.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, just normal. Yeah.
yeah, well, you know. So they're very proud of that. But you know, there's a heartbreaking picture that he showed of his little daughter, because obviously he has to move there. He kind of found out he was moving there after everyone else knew. And he's like there for a year and a half with his family, and his little daughter's there, and she's only a little girl, and she's sitting on her own, and all the other children speak Russian, and she doesn't, and she's eating some grim soup, and you think, yeah, it's really, really hard on the families of astronauts. They do have to sacrifice a lot.
They go through the mill, don't they?
Yeah, so it was a very...
Well, wasn't it? It was Chris Hadfield, wasn't it, who said that his children just don't, you know, they spent so long without him that they ended up just not recognising him.
Yeah, yeah.
And that must be heartbreaking when it's your own kids. Yeah. Daddy's home, it's like, who are you?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever, it's a spaceman. Who cares?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, I like to think that they repair these relationships, you know?
Yeah. So, Michael Foale is an OBE, just so you know, which is the Order of the British Empire, which is one up, by the way, of from CBE, MBE, which people like Gary Barlow get, which I'm a little bit pleased. If Gary Barlow was above Michael Foale, I'd be a bit annoyed.
Exactly.
You know, writing a few pop tunes is very different from controlling a space station with your thumb.
It is a bit, you know?
Yeah. So that was a really interesting talk.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah,
I'm gutted I missed it.
Yeah, you should be gutted. But yeah, he does quite a few talks over in Britain. He's obviously a massive British hero. Despite going up as an American, he speaks with a British accent, and I think he kind of thinks of himself as British. The one thing that was very obvious at the end during the question section, someone asked about what he thought about the Trump administration and its current science denial.
I'm guessing he didn't give a glowing report.
No, he was pretty depressed, to be honest. He was really unoptimistic about it.
Good to know we're not alone.
Yes, well, I'm slightly more optimistic, I think. I mean, he really was. You know, this is just, he said for the natural sciences at NASA, it really was a very bleak time.
Yeah, I'm with him, to be honest. Oosh. But we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Time will tell.
You know, who knows? So, Jamie,
our
favourite, the James Webb Space Telescope.
Oh, I tagged you in a photo on Instagram. I can't stop looking at it.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful.
It's just the way that it reflects the rest of the room in its massive gold mirrors, isn't it?
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool. So it's made a few. It's been on a journey. It's been on that journey that we talked about last week. So it left NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Maryland on a trailer truck.
Obviously, okay.
Driving quite slowly.
Yeah,
and then went to the Joint Base Andrews in Maryland. Then it was stuck on a tractor trailer and taken and flown to the Ellington Field in Houston, Texas. And then again went on a truck and went to the Johnson Space Center.
There we go. That's not a bad little journey.
Yeah, and it's been taken out and put in the clean room there for cryogenic testing that will last for 100 days. So that's to make sure
the clean room, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That sounds so sinister. That sounds like they're going to gas it or something.
Oh, no. The clean room is... basically, all satellites go in clean rooms because you don't want all bits of hair and stuff on your solar panels.
No.
So it's going to go into a vacuum chamber, which I think is probably the biggest vacuum chamber in the world at the Johnson Space Center, and basically that goes in there for 100 days to be tested to make sure that it can withstand the vacuum and coldness of space.
Okay.
And then it's almost ready to fly in 2018. Can't wait. I really can't wait.
I mean, do we actually have a specific launch date yet?
No, just 2018. That's all we know at the moment.
Yeah, we're just going to have to wait.
We're going to have to wait.
We're going to have to be patient.
I didn't realise that it kind of goes into a kind of parking orbit and they do some tests on it before it kind of flies out to its Lagrange point where it's going to be left.
Nice. You love saying that, don't you? Every week you fit that in Lagrange point.
But talking of NASA projects, obviously this week we've heard that SLS is definitely going to be delayed until 2019, and it's definitely not going to have crew on the EM1. Now everyone in the kind of podcasting world seems to be really chuffed about that there's no crew on the EM1, and I can understand the fact that it didn't really affect the timeline, and what's the point of risking people. Maybe I'm just too cavalier. I just kind of really thought it would make the whole thing just a whole lot cooler and a whole lot more, engaging to have crew that were going to go on a deep space mission for the first time in 50 years. Do you know what I mean? But there we go. When you say deep space, they weren't going that far out, but still.
I know, I'm with you. Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? But I guess that's what they do,
But there was an interesting article that basically was working on a NASA assessment of major projects. It was a report, and basically they were sort of very worried about how much this is going to cost, and the cost of delaying it, and how that's going to really impact on all of NASA's space missions.
Okay.
And it's right, isn't it? Just like it's just going to be sort of seems to be like a continual knock on. This is one of the most expensive things ever, and in the meantime, Boeing and all that lot still are getting paid huge sums of money.
They really are, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like it's a bit worrying. Whereas SpaceX might be taking people round, the moon next year.
Yeah.
Although I saw a brilliant article this morning. The head of Russia's most prominent spaceflight company, Energia, has basically come out and said he just doesn't think that Vladimir Shulnetsev has said that he doesn't think that Elon Musk's company are anywhere near being able to fly a mission in 2018.
Really?
Not even in 2020. He's saying.
Was Musk being optimistic again?
Well, no. Well, we just don't know. I think maybe there's a little bit of it's a little bit of maybe this is a bit of a tit for tat thing, because there was a brilliant article on Ars Technica again. So it was a guy called Tom Mueller. And he'd basically made a talk to the University Astronomy Society, New York University Astronomy Society. And he's basically has a one by one gone through and slated a lot of the competition. Basically said United Launch Alliance's rockets are just stupidly expensive, and that the Russians are absolutely having a laugh if they think they can ever catch up with SpaceX. I mean, his favourite bit is my favourite bit on it is just like that. Sort of points out that the Russians think that they can catch up with SpaceX, but it's taken them 22 years to build Angara, and it's only flown once. He says they're not even in the game, and he's sort of saying how his pressure has forced the Europeans to abandon the Ariane 5 and move straight to Ariane 6, and really he's only got time for.
Why do you think that is about? Why do you think that is that Russia are lagging so much behind?
I think it's got.
I mean, what's the main reason? Is it investment? Is it the government? Is it a mix of the two? Is it the personnel?
It's investment and it's corruption, I would have it a guess. I mean, they had that terrible thing with the engines where they were using shoddy parts, and that has massively smashed up their space program. But, Russia has its economy is the same size as Italy's. And you think, well, they're just massively punching above their weight. Yeah. Anyway, they've got a very, very proud history in space flight. It's one of the best things that the Russians do. However, they really don't have the money to be in the game. I mean, as an economy, it's much smaller than Britain. And Britain doesn't have a space flight program. Yeah. In fact, Britain is the only nation that's ever had a space flight program and abandoned it. That's a bit depressing, isn't it?
Thank goodness for the ESA, man.
Yeah, well, New Zealand are just about to enter the game.
God, it's amazing. Welcome to New Zealand.
Yeah, so Bob Richards and Moon Express, they're going to fly on a Rocket Lab rocket, and they're just about to have their test launch very, very soon. In fact, it's slated now. I've just found an article that it's going to go up on May the 21st.
That is one for the diary.
So that should be extremely exciting. Yeah, so we've got to watch that.
I believe that's this Sunday, Matthew. Well, good luck to all the Kiwis.
Yeah, and Rocket Lab have got some new customers as well. So Spaceflight have bought some space on the Electron rocket as well. So we should look forward to that. So we shall report on that next podcast.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Before we wrap this one up, I want to go on to some letters that we've had. Yeah. So that we've had some pretty good letters. So we got a letter from a chap called Jonathan Aguila. And I hope it's Aguila, because that's how I pronounce the bass amp that made by Aguila. But it could be Aguilar as well. So
I'm sure he'll be happy if it was wrong because of that analogy.
Yes, well, Aguila bass amps are very, very good. We tried to persuade people to use that instead of the Ampeg SVT. But anyway, moving on. So he's written in to say how he's really enjoying the podcast. And he'd listened to episode 26, and he said he thinks that you and me are great hosts, so thumbs up. And he said he really liked Harriet.
Cheers, Jonathan.
He really
are you
liked
sure?
He really liked Harriet, and she thought she was wonderful, informative, enthusiastic. But he thinks that she got a couple of things wrong. So here his
what? Surely not. Well, Brettle does not make mistakes.
Well, here's his correction burn, and I think this is okay. And it looks like a very good explanation here. So. And he does point out, he goes, obviously he realises that he doesn't have the courage to come on and do a podcast, so and just answer questions off the hoof. Aww. So, but he has written a very funny email, so I think he's probably being a little bit modest. So basically,
I reckon he is. One
of the things that he picks up on is the chances of being able to see the transiting planets. Remember, my question was, I thought that seeing something like TRAPPIST-1 would be incredibly unusual because it would rely on the planets being just about in the right orbiting plane so that we could see it. Now he's sort of saying that actually it is. It's very unusual to be able to see planets orbiting like that, and he's saying it's to do with he says the naive probability of a transit is R over A, where R is the stellar radius and A is the orbital distance in the same units. So a planet 0.1 AU from the Sun still only has a 4% probability of transiting. So so if these planets are a distance away from their star, it's only a 4% probability of seeing it. So that is the situation we had in 0.1 AU from the Sun, from the star, from TRAPPIST-1, actually did mean that the probability is only 4% of stars are going to be like that. So we're only seeing 4% of the TRAPPIST-style systems. If I get this right, I might, of course, be grossly getting this wrong, of course.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time.
So, and he's saying that actually it's these low probabilities that drove the mission design for the Kepler telescope to stare at as many stars as possible. So that was really, Kepler was what it was. It wasn't because it was super accurate, which of course it is, but the main design is to capture as many stars as possible so that you can capture these remotely unlikely transits. And of course, and he's saying the reason this matters is that the implications are enormous for planets and planetary systems like TRAPPIST-1. The probability that a small rocky planet would cross through our line of sight and that we'd be able to detect is so dismally low that finding even one system implies that there are many, many, many more such systems out there. I heard one astronomer say that he expects small, rocky, habitable zone planets to be like vermin in the sky, in the sense that once we know how to look for them, they'll just turn up everywhere. This is why I'm bugging you by digging up an old episode. So I thought that's really good. and that's why he's saying systems like TRAPPIST-1 are so fantastic and inspiring that is worth emphasising. So that's really, really good. He also picked up on the one of the parts that Harriet said about what made planets round was a question you asked, and he says it's less to do with the fact that they've been polished off by collisions, and it's really all to do with the hydrostatic equilibrium. The force of gravity pulling material to the centre.
Gravity is all of the gravity is just pushing towards the centre.
Yeah, but basically gravity itself doesn't care about distance. It only cares about distance and not direction. So it's spherically symmetrical, and so it pulls everything into a sphere. Do you know how long it took me to say the word sphere?
I do remember, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Well, that's really interesting. I'll tell you what, we're going to have to send this letter to Harriet and see what she has to say.
Yeah.
We have to wait for her rebuttal.
Well, basically, he's saying, in the end, planets are round because by tautology, this is how planets are defined. So you can only be a planet if you're round, because it's saying that you have to be big enough that that you get into this hydrostatic equilibrium, and that's the important thing.
I'm going to have to eat more for breakfast than the orange that I ate, Matt, to get to planetary size. Then,
yes,
is that what you're saying?
Yeah. But my tummy is kind of getting to planetary size.
You're on your way.
Jim King, who was visiting the Kennedy Space Center.
Oh, I love Jim King.
Jim King, the nicest human being in the universe. Oh, he'll just do anything for anyone, Jim King. He's
definitely up there. Well, not anything.
He's out there, man. He's out there. But he's out in the Kennedy Space Center, and he said, there's an interesting factoid. The internet speed at the Kennedy Space Center is 91 gigabits per second.
Right.
Only 10% of the land is used for space and the rest is a conservation area.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, 8-foot deep gravel tracks that go the miles between the construction areas on the pads are made from rocks from a Tennessee riverbed so that they don't spark when the crawlers drive over them, which is very important, of course, because you don't want the space shuttle blowing up.
That's cool.
And the two crawlers themselves cost $12 million each. And they can go 4 miles an hour top speed and only half a mile an hour when they've got the rocket stack on top of them. And they're still absolutely in perfect working condition. And he said Elon Musk builds his rockets horizontally so he doesn't have to use the vertical assembly building. And he insists on using Pad 39A as he believes it's hollowed ground. Hallowed ground, I should say. And I got one.
Hollowed. That would be difficult.
I've got one more reader letter, and it says,
go on.
Yeah, he goes, if you're an astronaut and you don't end every relationship by saying, "Look, I just need space," then you're wasting everyone's time.
That is good, and it appeals to you, Matt, because you love a pun.
I love a pun.
Do you know what, Matt? A fun fact of my own. I bought a T-shirt from Spaceport America in New Mexico when I went to see, when I went to meet old Branson, see what Virgin Galactic were up to a couple of years ago, and I bought a T-shirt in the shop there that said, "I just need my space," with a rocket next to it. And I don't talk about it much because I'm probably just going to get bullied for being some kind of nerd. But listen, I've kissed girls, so
I don't think you have.
Well,
you say you have, but I've never seen it. And if I did, I'd probably be a bit grim.
Edit that out. Dear. But I might dig out that T-shirt. It's a classic.
Yeah, it is good.
Well, I love all them letters coming in. I hope that inspires more people to write in, because it literally is. We say it every week, but that's our favourite thing, isn't it? Yeah. Reading the responses, because we just ramble on.
Oh, God,
but hearing what people think is wicked.
Yeah.
Even if it is to challenge what we've said, which is totally the point.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's great.
I will. Yeah, I mean, on the blog, I'll stick that letter up in full. Well, an edited version of it, so you can see a better explanation. Because I didn't really go into a lot of what he said about the Van der Waals forces and the Coulomb forces and etc., and how planets are made. It's very, very interesting.
It really is.
Yeah. So, there's obviously, other than the Rocket Labs launch, there's the Europeanized Soyuz launch today, and SpaceX are really building up their cadence at the moment with the amount of rocket launches they're doing. The last one not having a flyback because it required the fuel to get this very, very heavy payload into space. And Whitson and Fisher have been out doing the 200th ISS spacewalk as well. Can you believe that? 200th ISS spacewalk. And I think Whitson did the 100th as well. So there you go.
She's what was she, fourth or fifth in the table of?
Yeah, I think she's
something like that.
Female, she's the number one spacewalker,
by far.
But fifth. Yeah, I think she's fifth.
Keep going, Peggy. Yeah, legend.
I tell you what, I just want to quickly mention an article by Paul Gilster in on his Centauri Dreams blog that he has, which I always go to. I love it because it's about interstellar travel, and remember the weight equation that we talked about. Ages and ages ago on our interstellar travel episode.
I remember.
The weight equation basically is this: is if you set out in a starship and the journey takes, well, say like 100 years, do you wait just in case in the meantime you develop another starship that can overtake you? It was a problem that was looked at in an article in the Journal of the British Interplanetary Society by Andrew Kennedy, and it was called the weight calculation, and he put some kind of terms to it. You know, how long do you wait before you think, right, okay, we've got to go with the current technology? Someone has re-looked into this particular problem, and they've looked at kinetic energy and the graph of how speed has been growing, and the breakthrough starshot proposal, if that was to go ahead and really did reach a substantial percentage of the speed of light, then it would break that particular what's been exponential growth in speed since the first train, basically, and therefore it would smash this whole idea of the weight equation and puts a whole new spin on it. It's a really, really interesting article. So I think everyone should go and have a look at that. Paul Gilster on Centauri Dreams.
That's insane. Yeah, definitely put that up on the blog, please.
A relativistic generalisation of the incentive trap of interstellar travel with application to breakthrough starshot.
Sounds like something I'd write, isn't it?
It's absolutely cool paper.
That is awesome. Well, we will see you guys next week. Thanks again for listening, and you're just troopers, the lot of you.
See you soon, Space Cats.
See you soon.
We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.